This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, let's get into some news and notes that's going on around this time. And you comment to ESPN.com saying that you had only signed a contract until April and that wrestling wasn't discussed. What was your physical shape at this time, Kurt? Were you ready to get in there and mix it up?
Yeah, I was in great shape. I was doing indie shows and I kept my body in incredible shape. When I got to WWE, the problem is they didn't have me wrestle first. They had me get inducted into Hall of Fame, and then they had me be the GM second, and then they had me wrestle last. It was in the opposite order, and it was hard because when I was inducted to the Hall of Fame, I stopped wrestling because I got the GM role the next day. So I was not wrestling anymore. I was inactive as a wrestler, and I was barely working out. And I started gaining weight, and it got out of control. And then I tore a muscle in my quad, and it plagued me the rest of my career in WWE. So it was sad. I just wish that WWE would have done it the opposite way. Wrestle first, GM second, Hall of Fame third, in that proper order. That's usually the way they do it. But for some reason, I think Vince felt I was a liability. He wanted to protect me. So he inducted me into the Hall of Fame first, made me GM second, and had me and got a feel for me for a little bit before he had me wrestle. And it was sad to see that because I was ready to perform when I first signed with WWE. I was ready to go out there and kick some ass in the matches. But unfortunately, they put it in the wrong order, and I lost control of my body, and it just was sad.
Man, that's such a shame for we fans because if you were ready to go and tear it down, we could have gotten, Angle 2.0 WWE.
Well, that weight gain, that muscle pull,
yeah,
it really inhibited my career. It just, I couldn't do a lot. I lost a step is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you. Well, a few weeks after you're announced for the Hall of Fame, you give another interview, and now you're saying you like Austin, Cena, or Undertaker to induct you. Are you told at this point Austin's probably unable to induct you?
Yeah, I heard that Steve wasn't going to be available, but I wanted to give out my choices, Undertaker, Cena, Steve Austin, any of those three I would love to induct me. And, John was great because what I love about John is I consider him the greatest WWE superstar of all time. He's won 16 WWE world titles, the only person in history to do that. He has a great look. What he's done for the business, he stayed clean. He hardly ever got injured. He was consistent. He had a really long run. And John Cena, I consider him the greatest WWE superstar of all time. And it was a real proud moment for me to be inducted by him. John was really well-spoken too, very intelligent person.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely good on the mic. So Cena's going to be the guy. You work your last indie match against Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
That's something. My goodness. That guy makes headlines all the time. And as this drops, I'm sure he will have made a few more. And it's at the Northeast Wrestling in Waterbury, Connecticut, which drew 3,000 fans.
Not a bad
Yeah, right. At this time, Mick Foley is the Raw GM, but he needs hip replacement surgery. Is this when the ideas floated to you about, hey, Kurt, what do you think about being our GM?
It's crazy. You would think so. You'd think they would call me right away and say, hey, Mick Foley's got to have his hip replaced. We need you as a GM. No, they didn't do that. They waited till they inducted me in the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame night, the night before WrestleMania. And that night, right before I went out to do my speech, Vince McMahon came in and said, hey, we're going to have you be GM of Raw starting tomorrow. Like they could have told me when Mick Foley's hip, when he had to have his hip replacement, but they didn't tell me till the very last second. I knew the day before I was GM that I was going to be the GM.
So in that moment, the next day you show up for Raw and are like, okay, what am I doing? What's this? What am I saying? What's this look like? I mean, what's going through your head as you show up to Raw next day? Like, I guess I'm the GM. I need a GM suit.
You know what? Vince made it very simple for me. He basically just introduced me. I came out and said, Kurt Angle is back. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. That was all I said. So Vince just wanted the fans to know that I was the new GM,
the face.
They wanted to get the fans excited about it. He wanted to reintroduce me to them because I was out for 11 years.
Well, it's good because we're seeing Kurt Angle on our television sets again. And from The Observer, Angle did an interview with the Sporting News about meeting Vince McMahon for the first time since 2006. And at this time, Kurt, you said, we met and the first thing he did was embrace me. He hugged me like I was his son. I got really emotional. We didn't leave on the best of terms. It wasn't bad terms, but there was some angry remarks, especially from my side, and Vince was frustrated with me with everything going on at this point in time. To be able to come back and Vince say, just let it go. Let everything in the past go. We're here now. There's nothing you need to worry about that occurred in the past. Just worry right now about the future. We have some wonderful plans for you in the future. Regarding wrestling, he said that he knows that the WWE wants him to work for the company after the Hall of Fame, probably in a non-wrestling capacity. Angle was at the SmackDown show on March 14th since it was in his hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But he left before the show started. He filmed more interviews for WWE Network and other documentaries and videos before the show started. So, Kurt, take us through it. Talk about that meeting with Vince again and what it was like.
Well, it was redemption. I mean, we put everything in the past. We decided that we would forgive each other, start new. And Vince was great. He embraced me. He told me I love you like a son. And but he did say, Kurt Angle, you were a pain in my ass. He did tell me that. And I was a pain in Vince's ass, especially right before I quit. And no, but it was a great meeting. And you know, it was like we never had that fight. It was like none of that ever occurred, and that business was as usual.
Well, we're here, Kurt. It's the night before WrestleMania. It's a big night. It's the Hall of Fame. You already mentioned it, John Cena, all the reasons you were happy that he would induct you. There's a clip that we're going to put on social media of you getting emotional watching your career highlights. Talk about how big of a moment this was for you.
Yeah, watching the moments that I created for the WWE fans and being inducted to the Hall of Fame, it was a dream come true. It's the one thing that I actually wanted to do before I ended my career with the WWE. And here it was. It came quicker than I thought it would. I thought I would wrestle first before I got inducted, but I was okay with this either way. Being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame is a huge honor, and I was very excited about it.
So, Kurt, we're wrestling fans. We're never going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Can you take us through the process that day, the Hall of Fame? Did they write the speech for you? What does all that look like?
Well, you know, they document everything. So they're recording you all day long, wherever you go, whatever you do. And it was pretty cool. But did they write the speech for me? Hell no. I wish they would have. You know, the writers, the crazy thing is, all I wrote was thank yous. Okay, that's all I had down. And they told me not to thank Vince because Vince does not like thank yous. He wants you to thank everybody else but him. And so I had this speech ready. And 5 minutes before I go out there, the writers come to me and say, hey, we need you to be entertaining. He said, what do you have in your speech? I said, I just have a bunch of thank yous. I didn't know you guys wanted me to be entertaining. You didn't tell me. They said, well, we're telling you now. What do you need for us to help you out with this promo? Is there anything we can get you to make it more entertaining? And I was like, give me a couple of half gallons of milk. Give me a cowboy hat. You know what? I'll sing Sexy Kurt. And then I'll sing the cowboy song that I sang with Vince McMahon. And then I will do a milk celebration at the end. So this was all put together in like 3 minutes. They literally got me the milk and the cowboy hat in like 3 minutes. I don't know where you get a little tiny cowboy hat in an arena, but they found one. It was crazy. It was almost like they were telling me, you know, they knew ahead of time that I was going to, when they came to me and I said, you know, they asked me for ideas. It's like they knew ahead of time I was going to ask for a cowboy hat because there's just, how is that possible to get a tiny cowboy hat in an arena where I'm going to be inducted to Hall of Fame that night? It was ridiculous. So I did put it together at the last second. I went out there, and sometimes speeches go better when you plan them at the last second, going off the cuff. And it was a pretty damn good speech, I thought.
Oh, it was fantastic. The milk was hilarious. It was awesome. And hey, if you too are looking for a cowboy hat, you can find them at realkurtanglebrand.com. And that's where you're going to find your cowboy hats, right, Kurt? There we go.
KurtAnglebrand.com.
KurtAnglebrand.com.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.